Recorded live from a home studio in the Garden State, it's the Backstage Kingdom Podcast. And now, here's your host, Michael Saint Gregory.
Okay, so we are rolling. What do you, Andrew? What have you got like back there? I see you've got like Epcot 40, and then what's the one that's
this is like an advertisement. Walt Disney World with Delta. Yeah, Delta Airlines is the sponsor.
That was Dreamflight too at one point, wasn't it? Didn't Delta do Dreamflight?
So yes. This must be from like 90s because it wasn't it was Eastern Airlines was the main one originally.
The official airline of Walt Disney.
When you had like if you had wings or something before?
Yeah. That? If you had wings.
When you
and that's what Buzz is now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten the high score on Buzz?
Yes.
I have, but I thought that my thing was broken.
Do you know the secret panel high score button?
In like each room there's like one button.
I know like the big one is the one that's behind the punching robot. Like if you turn there's like one angle where it's like a secret one that's like right there that's like 99,000 points. It's basically the golden snitch. It's like the you win button. Like
it's like right before you leave that room. Right?
Yeah,
it's I think
kind
only
of
one of the seats. Yeah, I think only one of the seats can actually like hit it. You know?
I like the one in California better because you could actually like move it, but they're changing.
They're doing
that
to this one.
Yeah, and the targets look like
which I think is silly. Which I think is silly because why do you need a Toy Story ride and a Monsters Inc. show when there's going to be when there's another park that has a Toy Story Land and a Monsters Land?
Well, did you know that there almost was both at the same time beforehand? Because I do. Did you know that? Okay, since we're talking about stuff that almost was, and that's what really. First of all, I'm always fascinated by the stuff that almost was.
You've been listening to the Backstage Kingdom Podcast.
Because Imagineers, hosted by like a lot of the times we think like Imagineers have just like are always
sound.
thinking of fresh
all things
ideas.
Theater and theme parks,
a lot of
follow
the things
Michael
that
everywhere
end up
online
being like actually made
are
pulled
from
the stuff
on Apple
that got rejected.
Spotify,
and
right,
wherever
it's a collection of half-baked ideas that turn into
Pat
one
Dooley signing off and reminding you
greenlit.
Like, do you know how many times Tony Baxter has tried to push that crystal thing, and then eventually they were just like, fine, one crystal thing. We'll figure out what it is, but we just gotta like somebody shut him up just so that he'll get his damn crystal building.
The Crystal Palace?
Yeah, well, I think it was Imagination Pavilion.
Imagination
just
Pavilion.
Because it was like
Imagination
some sort of in California he wanted something for Discovery Bay when he was building that, and then he also tried to put it in like Japan, and then he also tried to put it in Disneyland for a rebuilding of Tomorrowland, and then like all this. The man is obsessed with a crystal building. Like he just wanted so hard to make a crystalline building.
That's funny.
So we each brought to the table a attraction or ride or land that we either wish we had seen come to fruition or have always wanted to have heard about, or just wanted to see exist. If a lot of people who look up, like if they're like us, they look this stuff up, and you probably have read every Wikipedia article, every fan column about what could have been, what almost was. I think like everything in the original plan for Disneyland that was never made is already on that list. Like Haunted Mansion was supposed to be on Main Street as like a small like end of the path weird house that was the whole idea.
Walk through, very basic,
like just from like all those original ideas. Like Pirates was supposed to be a walkthrough as well, and then Pirates wasn't even going to be at Disney World. It was going to be a Western Frontier boat ride, but people wanted the pirates, and he was like, all right, you get pirates. All right, what am I going to do? and then there's just like this, like we were saying, there's a lot of things that didn't get made but end up being used or getting changed and then like rebuilt. Like most recently, Cosmic Rewind for the longest time was going to be called Universe of Energy Cosmic Rewind. But as recently as like maybe a few weeks ago, with interviews from Imagineers who revealed that Bob Iger basically said, I don't want anything unless it's IP related. And it was mainly like, it was half depressing, but also half like coming from an economic standpoint of like there's like, for me, I understood, even though I didn't like it, I understood why, because it was something that it's like, you're using the property that you have because it's not that you don't trust the original idea. It's that it's like, it's a perpetuity thing, you know? It's one of those things where it's also like a legality of needing to use the licensed material continually, and also a creative need to have it out there, because then you're expanding, monetizing it in different ways. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but also it's, if it was going to be the same ride, but you just have a bunch of scientists showing you that energy started at the Big Bang and then you get time traveled to different sides, and it was the same exact cool, awesome ride. Maybe it was Bill Nye that took you into space. I mean, I still would have loved it.
Yeah.
That ride, you could put anything over. It's just a really great attraction.
Oh yeah,
you could,
don't get me wrong.
It's an
awesome ride. It just
put Bluey in there. I don't care. I'm gonna ride it.
Right.
Like, but I think it might also have to do with the fact that, you know, these decisions aren't. It's not like Bob has to explain to his board members. It's a lot easier to say, hey, we're gonna spend $500 million on this, but it's because it's this $10 billion Marvel franchise.
Right. And I do think that's really where it comes down to, is if you want attractions that are going to cost a lot of money, that take a lot of investment, you have to put up with certain things that you may not like. And that might be relying on a $1 billion, franchise in order to anchor it, or Lightning Lane sales. Now that they can project out how much this attraction is going to make on Lightning Lane, you can get more approved in the attraction, spending in the attraction, and maybe get better technology or a better concept. So it's like, it's a trade-off. We may not be getting as many original ideas, but maybe we might be getting better products in the end.
Yeah, and that's how you end up getting
increase their budget.
Yeah, and that's how you end up getting Frozen as the Maelstrom replacement, and not what was originally planned, which was a like folklore of Norway as told by trolls, which was going to be the reboot of Maelstrom. They were going to basically take that one little section and make the entire attraction a fantasy retelling of the history of Norway through the eyes of troll folklore. And I was like, that's so much better. That's actually really like interesting and cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how like you're saying, with like, to sell Lightning Lane stuff, what is your best bet? To do it with a gamble on an interesting story, or the $1 billion selling franchise movie with 3 movies?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And I do think that Frozen is where they made a mistake there, because they didn't go all in enough into making the best type of Frozen movie, Frozen ride that they could have. They used the same track, and so in the idea that you got a better product because it's anchored by this $1 billion franchise, in that case, I don't think that ended up working. We got a couple cool animatronics, but how old is it? Is it 10, 15 years old?
No, it's not
At
even
this
10
point?
years
No,
old
it's
yet.
not even. It's only a handful
it's
of
already
years.
8 years. 8
Yeah,
years
and
old.
they're already getting replaced. And
Well, I
so,
mean,
you
thank
know,
goodness.
And I will
Yeah.
say it's aged like milk. Those animatronics with the projected faces are terrible. And it's something that Disney without Lightning Lane revenue would have never fixed. And
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that they're saying, hey, we've got all this extra money now. Like, let's go put the better 2025 animatronics in our flagship park, you know?
Right. And I feel like the thing for me is like the equitable actions that I feel you kind of have to do in that sense. Like if you're going to put an IP in a nation that reflects the culture, shouldn't that then kind of be then repeated across the other ones? Like all of a sudden the Mary Poppins attraction from the UK completely disappeared.
Well, that wasn't going to be a good one anyway. I know what it was. So,
but the thing is, never got a chance to even try.
Well, it was just going to be a spinner with a the queue would have been better than the ride. It would have been a nice cherry lane though.
But it would have been there, you know, like that's what I'm saying. Like Ratatouille is in France, you know, because it takes place there. It just seems like why is it that there's some here but there's not others elsewhere? And then where is the priority? The same thing goes with like, because Epcot has had the identity crisis problem for the longest time. And the amount of things that have almost been there and then not, and then taken back. Like, so a lot of this begins with, well, I mean, Epcot in itself is the ultimate what if, because Epcot Walt wanted Epcot to be a idyllic utopia city. You know, so like even if that, first of all, it logistically truly never could have happened. It just absolutely could not have happened in a million billion years. There was no way it could have happened. It would have, if he had still been alive to see through the construction of said project of what a Disney World type thing would have been close, we probably would have seen, you know, still have a Magic Kingdom that connected to a World's Fair type thing with a World Showcase and some sort of like corporate sponsored displays of like a Stark Expo type deal, like in real life. And then, you know, maybe some sort of industrial park and residential area, and then an airport, but not a domed city. Like,
no.
Certainly would have been. It would have been much like lower scaled. Like realistically, none of the stuff would have been there. Yeah, it's like it's yeah.
You know what I want to do with my young kids? I want to pick up their lives and move down to a dome for 6 months.
Yeah,
and then
get kicked out. Like, right when they're adjusted,
where I give up all of my rights.
Right.
To just make
People
sure that I have
in and
some
out of
job
my house
security.
to look at my new dishwasher.
Yeah.
Walt is voting for me.
Yeah, but hey, Monsanto's got my back.
I'm living in the house of the future.
Exactly.
It's all asbestos, baby.
The future is bright today. All my furniture will be replaced by the time I get back from work.
Yeah.
Somehow. But like, and then you move forward to, you know, the dark ages of the parks where they had no idea what was going on. And eventually when, you know, you both, and your co-host just did an episode about the origin of Disney MGM Studios, and you want to talk about what almost was, I mean, Disney MGM Studios and Disney Hollywood Studios, that is my home park. That is the park I love the most. I will defend it till the day I die. I mean, I love it. I will always love it. Not just because I work there, but because truly, since I was a kid, it has always been my favorite And I will also be the first to criticize it too. When it comes to that one, I mean, first off, obviously we all know it opened up with 2 attractions. With
2 rides,
with the
2
2-hour
shows,
tour and the great movie ride. But Eisner wanted Roger Rabbit to be the star of that park.
Yeah.
And like have his whole like iconography be about that. That's why you have that Eddie Valiant detective. That's why you still had, Roger Rabbit Easter eggs in the different like spots around the park. There are still so many small little signs of tiny, not like they're loved now, but at the time they were failures for Disney. Like just all these little movie pieces of like a callback to Rocketeer or like just tiny little things of 90s, late 80s, early 90s Disney that at the time were they so invested into, but just never came to be into what could have been. And speaking of what could have been, because these aren't going to be our picks, but I want to give you a rundown at Hollywood Studios of what could have been. First off, all of the Roger Rabbit stuff. He was going to be the icon. But it was a licensing
Roger
issue.
Rabbit's Hollywoodland, right? Is that what it was called?
It was basically before Toontown. They wanted to make Toontown, like you see in the movie, in the backlot area, which is why that during the tour you had the dip machine was spraying at you, and they had a rebuilt Acme Toys or Acme Toons like factory that you could walk through and like interact with. And then behind that was supposed to be the entrance to the Toontown, and then you would have what is now the Roger Rabbit ride in Disneyland. Then there was supposed to be what ended up becoming on Sunset Boulevard, Dick Tracy's Crime Busters. Now that was supposed to be like another e-ticket ride of kind of like, big dark ride with lots of special effects around you. And, you get in the car and there's animatronics and they're shooting, all these kinds of things. Didn't happen because everybody hated Dick Tracy, but they didn't hate it. The problem is that it was one of those things where it's like, is this for kids or is this for adults? And no one knew how to market that. And then everybody turned out to hate Warren Beatty.
What do you mean? He still pulls out Dick Tracy every like 5 years.
That to me is the most insane IP holding ever. For those of you who don't know, Warren Beatty still holds the cinematic and television rights to the character of Dick Tracy. And for the last several years, he has produced 2 television specials so that he can still hold those rights legally. Both times he was depressingly old and just barely talking as the character. And at the same time, after the movie was somewhat of a success, allegedly, from what I have to say allegedly because legally there's always those reasons. At Disney MGM Studios, one of the things they wanted to be a flagship show shot on location was a Dick Tracy television series starring Bruce Campbell.
Wow.
As Dick Tracy.
Wow.
And obviously Warren Beatty screwed that up.
Yeah.
But they did have the Dick Tracy musical for a good year at what is now where Beauty and the Beast is. Yeah, we didn't get
such a big
ride,
theater.
but we got a musical.
So would you recommend watching that, Dick Tracy? I've never seen it before.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it is
the one,
lovingly
the
awesome and bad. Like,
yes,
it is a great action film that is just cheesy and over the top, that has music by Stephen Sondheim. Like
amazing,
like 2 original songs by Stephen Sondheim, A-list actors in the most over the top makeup designs, Al Pacino not giving a flying frick about anything, being the villain, and some of his most over the top acting, and that's saying a lot. And like, it's fun. It's a fun movie. It just, no one knew how to market it, and it was a weird time.
Yeah, the whole, like, from what I've never seen it, obviously, but from like just the marketing of it, or any type of advertisements, or seeing it in a YouTube video or something like that, it just seems very gritty, very dark, very like, I
Not
feel like
really.
late 80s.
No, it's almost a parody of itself. It's like, it kind of is like it.
It doesn't know
describe it?
what it
It's-
wants to be.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe that's the best way to describe it. Is that it doesn't know what it wants to
gritty
be.
and noir and cartoony and very colorful. It's like if somebody took Sin City and then put all the color splash into it, but then took out all the cursing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Dick Tracy being around the parks, like my early visits to MGM.
Yeah.
I remember there was a guy in the big yellow coat and hat. He was there.
Yeah, and that's all they could do for some reason. Like, because the thing is, it's like, again, Madonna was a big issue because of just like the image she was portraying during her tour and the albums, and like the controversy that she had in the public eye, and then Warren Beatty's public life, and it was weird because Disney was in this transition period with Touchstone Pictures at the same time as well, and they were like, how do we, because it came out like in the same time as the first Batman movie, and or rather in Batman Returns, and which was also that kind of like, is this being catered to kids, or because it's clearly not a kids movie, but they also still wanted action figures, and I had bed sheets that were Dick Tracy, like that's like the kind of thing, like it was very confusing. And I was Dick Tracy for Halloween as a kid. Like, it was like, no one knew how to market that. And it could have been an amazing ride, but it did not come to pass. But the thing is about the Great Movie Ride, the biggest thing that they got with the licensing deal of having MGM attached to them was getting the Wizard of Oz. And the thing with the Great Movie Ride was the fact that the whole second half of the ride was meant to be basically you being fully immersed in the Wizard of Oz. Because when you were supposed to when you go past what was then the Fantasia sequence with Mickey, that was meant to be the tornado sequence. And the tornado sequence was meant to then take you into Oz. And then that whole sequence would play out. And then you'd go past and you'd get into the Emerald City. And the finale was meant to be you confronting the wizard, which was on the giant screen. And then that scene plays out where you're talking to the wizard. And what happens is either the gangster or the cowboy reveals that they're the one puppeting the wizard. Just like in the movie, they're the person behind the curtain. And at the end, there is a curtain call moment where both sides, the left and the right curtains, open up, and a copy of every animatronic from all the actors were standing, and they would collectively take a bow, and then that was the curtain call.
Seems a little creepy, actually.
The only reason it didn't happen is because they couldn't sign a deal with the effects artist of the tornado.
Oh, wow.
So,
really,
if you look at the design from the Fantasia sequence, you can see that it was kind of meant to resemble a tornado. But then, as a bit of an homage to the fact that they couldn't get the tornado, now in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, there was a legitimate tornado sequence in that same spot.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. Very, very unknown, homage.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that, and the fact that there are like all those tiny little things about what ends up becoming the final ride. Like in Star Tours, originally for the sequel version of the ride, they're opened up with 3 sequences each that got randomized, and then they gradually added more from the different TV series and then the sequel trilogy. Originally, they had like 30 different randomized sequences that they had planned. Like you looked at a branch and it went from like this and it was this many. They had like so many different ones.
Wow.
There were actually, I don't know if I should tell this. I may okay, this part's got to be edited out. But anyway, that's that story, which is now where we will catch up in the episode. You're just going to hear a long, like, beep, or just some sort of elevator music.
I don't know if I could say this.
Yeah, exactly. So,
do you need a really big reaction? Wow!
Oh my God!
No one will ever believe that.
They've been hiding that from us this entire time.
The whole time.
That's insane. That's what that is.
Yeah, man. And he knew. So stuff like that. The fact that there's original plans for different attractions, like Hollywood Tower. The Tower of Terror was originally going to be a Mel Brooks Tower of Terror.
Yes.
And yeah, which is bizarre to me. Like, just like, because imagine that. Let's say that did happen, and it was in it was 90s Mel Brooks that you would have recorded now. It's this many years later. Mel Brooks is currently 99 years old, and you're going to the park in 2026, and you're going on that attraction, and it's that era Mel Brooks, like 96 or whatever. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that pivot was a good pivot. I mean, Tower of Terror is now timeless.
Yeah, because you're using footage of somebody who's dead anyway, so it's like,
right?
Yeah.
That's a very good mimic, actually. That's not Rod Sterling.
No, it's an incredible voice actor. And
yes,
it's synced up perfectly with footage that just happened to match and take from a different episode, and then just beautifully like make work so well.
Yeah.
I actually
Thanks,
had
Kevin
asked
Rafferty.
him, I had actually asked him online, like, what was your, like, where did you get all like these mimicry skills from? And he said, like, when he was a kid, he would walk around Disneyland and just with a tape recorder and just like kind of record the different things and then play it back and then just mimic and go about like different things and just have fun with it. And then that's how he kind of accrued the skill to be able to like get hired for celebrity ADR and things like that. And eventually that's what got him the gig to be Rod Sterling for the attraction.
Wow, that's great.
So
yeah,
there you go, kids. Don't ever let anyone tell you that doing mimicry, doing other people's voices is a bad thing.
Or that going to Disneyland over and over and over again
exactly.
is a bad thing.
with a recorder.
Okay, yeah, just be careful with that. Like, that might be a little weird.
Stay in public places with the recorder.
Okay, that even may be taken out of context differently. The views and opinions of JJ and Andrew do not reflect that of the Backstage Kingdom.
I mean, we were talking about the wind instrument.
What I love, again, though, is how sometimes there are so many far-fetched ideas that you're just kind of going, there's no way that would have happened.
Yeah.
What do you think? And we'll get to like your obvious picks, but what is some of the ones that you have heard that you think? How could that have possibly even happened?
I mean, Roger Rabbit one that whole land. I was like, that's awful. Mel Brooks. You brought up all the ones that I think of right away. Trying to think if there's a pavilion. I mean, Tony Baxter told a story about his crazy version of the Seas. He wanted to do a completely different Seas ride.
Was it in a crystal?
Actually,
no, it was.
I think it was.
There was crystals in it. There was a Crystal Palace in there.
Well, at least it was the tank is glass siding, and it was like a roller coaster alongside the tank, right?
It was like a log flume. It was
a log flume, right?
Yeah,
right.
It was like
nothing could go wrong with that.
Yeah,
it was like if Splash Mountain and an aquarium and the
thing is,
we have
there are other resorts that have done stuff like that. But like,
yeah, you can go in a water slide underneath a shark tank in the Bahamas at a resort there, the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas.
And the thing is, it's like I can understand why that got rejected because, and like again, a lot of other people can already do that. And that's probably the reason why it gets rejected is because it's like, if everybody else can do that, why are we doing it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Guys,
yeah.
We should be up here. You're thinking too low. There's a reason we call it blue sky.
I think and I'm blanking on the official name, but the Western Expedition land in Magic Kingdom that they originally wanted to build before Pirates.
I think that's exactly what it was called, the Western Expedition. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was going to be, that was going to be a great ride, but not just the ride. Like it was supposed to be kind of what Space Mountain is in Paris, and that like there's more than just the ride. Like it's in the actual building, there's going to be other things like an arcade or a quick service and it's just all housed in the same gigantic
compound,
mountain, all in the same mountain, right? That I think would have been awesome, but I don't know how realistic that would have been. Maybe it's just that I haven't seen something similar to that where you have a roller coaster and other attractions all living like so tightly, right? Like that, but it would have been nice, but I don't know, the oil crisis, right? It always gets in the way.
Well, there's a lot of like the ones that got away, like Beastly Kingdom is the big one.
Oh yeah.
And that was the one where just everybody and they promoted it, like they hyped it, like they said like it's going to be there. And
there's a dragon in the logo.
Yeah, and it's still there. Like it's still there. It is the thing that will never happen, and it's still part of the marketing material.
Mm-hmm.
But that one sounds like it would have worked. And
absolutely
the same with by Splash Mountain, they wanted to make a fire mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was another one that like, oh, that could work. It sounds saying fire mountain does sound a little crazy, but if you think about
well, I mean, it each had a theme.
Tokyo Disney Sea with Journey to the Center of the Earth. You can
that's eventually what it became.
Exactly.
Like again, it's one of those things where it's like the idea starts as one thing and then eventually becomes another. It's one of those things where it's like sometimes like I get it, like the technology is just not there yet, or like the ride isn't there to a degree. Like even with the Avengers ride that was supposed to open up at Avengers Campus in California, there's a channel called Hey Bricky. He did an entire thing where he found the 3 patent designs of what would have been the original Avengers Campus e-ticket ride, where the first one was kind of like this swinging arm, reverse like Kuka arm attraction that went through a dark ride like set piece, which was cool. Like it would have been, again, they were all jetpack themed based on like the concept art. The second one was another jetpack one where you walk through a corridor that looks like you're going into a Quinjet, very similar to like what it would look like in the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, except at one point the Quinjet then breaks apart from you, and you are now gliding in your escaped jetpack, which is insane to me.
That to me is something that the technologies just can't be there.
Well, here's where it gets interesting, because the third one that kind of is now two different things that is probably going to end up happening. The third one was that same idea, start in a vehicle, and then the ship breaks apart, and the arm clicks into the back of your seat, and then that takes you onto a different track where you are flying into different pieces of set, and then it lets go and puts you into a different vehicle, which then goes through a different track. So it becomes like 3 different rides. That tech now is being used for the Stark test flight lab, where it's not the same thing. It's just a arm locks into a vehicle, and then you do like a little coordinated flight.
I mean, and that kind of exists with Tower of Terror, where you're in a vehicle and then you lock into a different vehicle for the drop sequence.
Rise of Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Again, it's like it's almost there, but it wasn't ready, and then it became something else.
That one seems kind of close. We might be able to see something like that at some point.
There's so many cool toys at research and development that I just want to be like, oh, I just want to say like what you could make with each of these things.
Time to get Lanny Smoot on the pod.
Points for anybody who knows who that is, by the way, if you're listening.
Yeah. So I was gonna point out that Harry Potter, the Forbidden Journey, you're in a vehicle, right? And then an arm grabs you. Or are you always connected to the arm?
Always connected to the arm.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even as it's going down the conveyor and you get into the Okay.
Yeah. And that was the trick, was that like you never see the arm behind you, and it really does it well. And the same thing now is like a modified version of it for Monsters Unchained, which is an even more extreme version of it, but they don't kind of hide it. They kind of play into it, where it's like, oh, this is a vehicle that Igor made, and Igor's crazy, so of course the vehicle is crazy. And they just like really embrace the insanity of the vehicle that he has created. So speaking of insane, we are going to go through our picks for the things that we have wanted to see be built, or learned about that were never built, or wished that had been built. And we're going to start with Andrew.
All right. Well, I'm always been very interested to know, or to think about what would have been different about Epcot, and specifically World Showcase, if we had gotten more rides in World Showcase. Would we still have the same type of all the festivals? Would it be the festival park today if we had the additional rides back at the end of the park to kind of anchor World Showcase, and already have people back there because they're going to be going on those rides? It's always something been in the back of my head, and you have certain ride ideas that got shelved over the years, like in Germany there's supposed to be a river cruise, but I wanted to talk about Japan, which was supposed to have actually 2 different rides, one of them being more of a show going through the history of Japan, that got shelved because they realized, oh, this is post World War II, and how are we going to really go over that section of history?
Yeah, kind of
right?
awkward.
A little awkward. But the one I find really interesting that was really almost built was Mount Fuji, a roller coaster in Mount Fuji. They were going to build the entire mountain. It was going to be behind the Japan Pavilion, and there is even a model out there. They went as far as to model it, and there's a video where they're showing showing the audience what Epcot's going to look like. It's a preview video, and you can see clearly in the preview video that there is a mountain behind the Japan Pavilion. So this was going to be a roller coaster in the mountain, similar to Matterhorn, and so although I would have wanted to get this Mount Fuji roller coaster, I don't know if I would have wanted it to be like Matterhorn. Maybe they didn't get it in the first Epcot, phase 1. Maybe it came in like phase 2 or phase 3 when technology develops and we get a little bit of a more modern roller coaster. But I think that would have been great. I think that the Japan Pavilion is an excellent pavilion. It's right up there with one of my favorites. But the one thing it's missing is like more activities there and just a ride. And if that pavilion had a ride, I think that would blow it away. So there was a couple things too of why it didn't get made. Obviously budgetary. When they were building Epcot, they went so over budget, and they were, it was almost that they may have missed the deadline. Like they were right up to the deadline. And so it did get cut. There's talk that maybe it got cut because one of their biggest sponsors was Kodak, and they didn't want a ride that had Mount Fuji in it, one of Kodak's competitors. But that's kind of,
even though that's
unfounded.
Literally the name of the mountain.
Exactly. There's no way of getting around that.
Like, we can't just call it the mountain in Japan.
No. that mountain that shall not be named.
We'll call it the Forbidden Mountain. Oh wait,
The Forbidden. But
no,
there was
save
a
that
couple
one.
ideas.
Save that one for later.
There was a couple ideas too that at one point maybe you would come face to face with Godzilla, which would have been interesting.
Allegedly,
that kind of reminds me.
I have heard
Allegedly.
many different give or take rumors about that one, but yeah, I think that one was more like fan wish fulfillment.
Yeah, that definitely, and probably came about after Mount Everest, and then when they realized how you have the Yeti in Mount Everest, they're like, oh, you could have done Godzilla in the Mount Fuji roller coaster. But I that's kind of what I see. How cool would it be to have a Mount Everest type of roller coaster in the back of Epcot anchoring World Showcase? I think that would have been really great. And I would have been interesting to see what World Showcase would be like today with all the festivals. Would we have as many festivals? How it would have developed throughout the years if you had all these rides in World Showcase that were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I can only imagine because, I'm sure that like the original intent was for every single nation was to have some sort of attraction. But right. The thing is, it's like, how many riverboat rides can you do in one, because it feels like every nation was like the default was, well, riverboat ride.
Right. It has to be travel based. Yeah. Because that's the whole point of getting the countries involved in the pavilion itself.
I mean, they got that really great circle vision technology too. So
yeah, how many circle visions and how many riverboat rides can you actually do at the time? They were kind of limited, especially like you said, they were rushed and they were running out of money.
Right. And they also have a limited amount of like ride vehicles and ride systems. Like it's an Omni Mover or a type of dark ride or a rudimentary roller coaster like Matterhorn or a show. That's pretty much it.
It's just kind of like spin the wheel of attractions. Like, all right, which one's this going to be? And Omni River. Awesome. Okay.
Right.
I'll cross that off the list. What about Mexico? River. Cool. All right. And Norway. River. Okay. And what do we got? Germany? River? Damn. Save that one. Hold on.
That's why I would have liked this ride to come about in like the 90s, when they redid Epcot in the 90s. I think that would have been a really interesting, time period to see what they would have came up with.
Yeah, let Arrow invent Magnum Excel 200 and all these other larger scale roller coasters so that they could make something that's appropriately mountain sized, kind of like almost exactly what we have in Animal Kingdom with Expedition Everest.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we don't work there.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Expedition Everest.
That's
was I saying Mount Everest the whole time?
You were saying Mount Everest the whole time. We don't know. Communication is context. We understood it.
Don't worry. I can always just put, every time you say Mount Everest, I could say Fuji. Like, it just
Expedition.
Yeah, just like just replace it with obviously not your voice. Or put Joe Rohde's voice in there of him saying the actual attraction.
Yeah, that's good actually.
And I think I know the other attraction for Japan that you were going to say.
Yeah, it's something of like Meet the World.
There was a bullet train simulator that was essentially the kind of same idea, where you were going to be in a compartment that looked like you were in a monorail, but you were in, but the windows were screens, and you were meant to be simulating going through on a bullet train. But the problem was, they were like, well, if you're sitting inside something that just feels like you're going fast through Japan,
right?
Why?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
What are we looking at? Like, you're just seeing a lot of things go past you really quickly. And they were like, oh, okay, well, yeah.
I mean, you could have just used it as a silly, cheeky ride vehicle device to get you through show scenes, almost like all those big giant swipes in Soarin'. You just simulate going really fast, and then all of a sudden, boop, you're at these temples.
Well, then the internet is very funny.
You're in front of Mount Fuji.
Then they combine rumors, because people were like, oh, well, then when Mount Fuji was scrapped and the Godzilla coaster didn't go on, they decided that a bullet train coaster that was going to have you run from Godzilla was also idea. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. you're just putting a hat on top of a hat.
Yeah.
Also, Disney doesn't own the Godzilla IP.
No, Toho Studios has no plans on giving the rights to their biggest franchise to Disney.
So actually, the attraction I was referring to is called. I was right on that. The name of it, Meet the World, and it was a Carousel of Progress type of attraction, like a show. And it was supposed to show the different eras of Japan, and it actually did exist in Japan, in Tokyo Disneyland, but not anymore.
Bring that back! Oh my god!
Well, but the whole idea was, though, is that in the 80s, you're going to have World War II veterans that are taking their families, the grandparents are and just fathers actually taking their kids to Disney and going to go and see the history of Disney of Japanese heritage and think to themselves like, what?
And what better way to have a vacation than be reminded of the horrors of war?
Yeah, and they actually built the show building for it too. It is still there. It's used as backstage extra storage. But something about the calculations of the show building, they built it incorrectly. The measurements are off or something like that. And in order to correct it, they would have had tear the whole thing down. So they just decided to push it off to the next stage, and it never came to fruition.
Wow.
All right. Well, Japan, hopefully, the thing is, ironically, Japan is the highest attended pavilion in all of World Showcase. So the fact that there isn't an attraction there at all still boggles my mind.
I'm shocked actually by that statistic. That's insane.
I'm not, because more often than not, the people you ask them, what's your favorite pavilion?
It's Japan.
There's only 3 answers. They say Japan, Mexico, or France.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one says anything else, which is kind of crazy.
Japan, I definitely believe it's because of the stores and
yes,
the merchandise that is there. Mexico, obviously, for the food and drink, and then France for the food, but the Ratatouille ride certainly made it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, JJ.
Okay, so my choice is, we kind of circled around it a little bit. This is a ride that's kind of, I'm sure, near and dear to all of our hearts. It's a ride that actually started being built and had to get canceled because, unfortunately, the ultimate brainchild passed away, and a deal could never get done to secure the rights in a way that would let a theme park ride exist, and that is a ride called the Great Muppet Movie Ride, which is a real ride. Which sounds, this is one of these things that sounds crazy,
right?
It's the Great Muppet Movie Ride that it would have existed about 100 yards away from the actual Great Movie Ride.
Yeah, it was part of the whole Muppet Studio plan for the entire courtyard, that when they were going to turn it into its own fully formed section.
There was going to be a full-blown Muppet Land. Jim Henson was a theme park head, but he was scared / couldn't figure out fundings on how to make a Muppets theme park. Enter Eisner. He was a guy that was like, I love stars. Henson qualifies as that. And that's why we have Muppet Vision 3D, or had. That's why we had Muppet Vision 3D. Was that
Don't worry, it's coming to VR soon.
Oh, good. I'll have to spend $3,000 on a Apple Vision Pro.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was all supposed to exist. There's this whole land. There's a lot of information online about it. It's really cool. But this ride is very, very interesting. You think, oh, Muppets parody. It was going to be a pure parody of just inserting the Muppets into the same scenes as the Great Movie Ride, or at least that's where my brain went. And that's not really the case. It's the Muppets showing you how the movies are made. But in Muppet fashion, the Muppets don't really know how to make movies. Yes, they release movies, but the Muppets they fail spectacularly at everything they do. That's part of their charm. So the information is backwards. Information is outrageous. There's a gag that's supposed to happen. That's a play on, being in Foley. You use certain materials to make certain sounds for movies. In Monty Python, you see like coconut shells for the clip clop of a horse, and they kind of parody that on there. But the Muppets have it so backwards that they're outfitting their horses with coconut horseshoes. Like their horseshoes are just coconut shells. And it's, so the Muppets are showing us how to make the movies because they're the experts, but they're not actually experts. Your ride vehicle's a little golf cart, and it's a kind of an Omnimover style attraction where you're going scene by scene and seeing all these Muppet versions of classic movie scenes, and also there's a big pigs in space scene. It's a very interesting ride. I really, really wish they made this thing.
Yeah, it was. There's concept art and storyboard art available online. You can find
yes. There are almost every single show scene has concept art that you can see online. Jim Hill's written stuff about it. Carly, who's our guest, wrote an article about it. And it just seems so much fun and so Muppets insanity. Statler and Waldorf are in every single scene, and they're in their own smaller version of your ride vehicle. And the ride vehicles are like golf carts, because that is the only way to get around on a movie studio lot. Is you have to, you get around by golf cart. That is, it's required by law to travel via a golf cart.
Absolutely.
So they understood that about movie making.
I also would say if you're a fan if you're on TikTok, and I sent this link as well to these gentlemen. Noah Sunday Lefkowitz teamed with who is a former Imagineer and a fantastic singer-songwriter, teamed with Tyler Tafela on TikTok, and they created a song of if this attraction that was never built had a theme song. And it is an incredible song that sounds like
hysterical.
It would have been in the show. Like, spot on, absolutely beat for beat, sounds like a Muppet song, and it sounds like it would have been in the show if this thing had been built. Go listen to that.
It's the Great Muppet Movie Ride! Yarr! Have you wondered and thought just how the Muppets had gotten to make movies upon the big screen?
Well, with a clap of the slate, I gone to the greats. We'll guide you through this well-oiled machine.
Showing tricks of the trade and the talent we toast.
And whatever I sever, we'll fix it in post. While you are sitting side by side on the Great Muppet Movie Ride.
Want to take a ride?
Yeah, take me home.
It's our only ticket attraction.
Hosted by your favorite green frog.
Thank you.
You'll see movie magic in action. In a spotlight we are sure to hog.
I'm almost ready for my close-up. Just need an hour for makeup.
You got a minute and a half.
So let's hop on a tour of all the films we adore. We know you've waited in line the whole day.
Please keep your whole party near and keep a count of each peer. Decorum is the American way.
Give your seatbelt a tug, we got one sudden drop. After that you will exit through our Muppet gift shop. Keep your hands and legs inside of the Great Muppet Movie Ride.
More thrilling than water's backside.
It's the Great Muppet Movie Ride.
Smile wide.
The Great Muppet Movie Ride obviously is something that totally would have worked if they could have figured out the rights in the correct way. I think we all would have loved it. I don't know how popular it would have stayed throughout its time because, you know, sometimes you can only hear the same joke told by Gonzo so many times. And I'm speaking for the everyday person.
I think it would have outlived the actual Great Movie Ride.
I hope so. I mean,
considering most rides now in Disney World have. Hey, the Muppets are back in a big way, so you know.
Oh my gosh! Did you watch the new special?
I've watched it like 5 times.
Amazing! It was so good.
So, for my pick, this is something that I discovered a handful of years ago. I think maybe it was in 2020 when we were all locked down and we had nothing to do but just basically live on the internet. There was an entertainment group known as the Goddard Group that was releasing a bunch of concept art for things that they never made in theme parks. They're now known as Legacy Entertainment. And what they released that really blew my mind was a show that they were going to put out in 1989 for Universal Studios Hollywood called The Phantom of the Opera and the Theater of Horrors. This was going to be a stage show that none of us would have ever expected to have seen and will never more than likely ever be tried to be attempted. So this was going to be built in the original soundstage where the Phantom of the Opera original Universal movie was filmed, with a recreation of the Paris Opera House set. And the idea was that a tour guide was going to, and you can find this concept art online if you just Google Goddard Group, Goddard, and then Phantom of the Opera Theater, the Old English way with the RE of Horrors. There are 2 images basically that are available online. You might be able to find the storyboard of it as well, but you'll also have to like kind of dig deep on Legacy Entertainment's Facebook group, which I have. And I have all that art saved on my hard drive in a different computer. But what would happen is you'd all go into the soundstage, and it was all recreated to look like the Opera House, as if it was an old set. And it had like dust and curtains, and like it was meant to be like, oh, this is a restored set that we just have like all the pieces still around. and you were then given a presentation by a host, and a film would then present itself as a montage of the classic horror of Universal Studios, the icons. You'd see Frankenstein, you'd see the Wolfman, the Phantom, and when the Phantom shows up, all of a sudden the screen starts to flicker. And then in that moment, the scene of Lon Chaney revealing the face when the mask comes off transforms, and it's now just Lon Chaney's Phantom on the screen addressing the host. And it says it's like, oh, you have disturbed something so powerful, and like,
wow,
now you are all becoming victims of my terror. You want to see true terror? I'll show you. And all of a sudden, there's a blackout, and you hear the organ, just this blasting of organ sound. And the candles, the candelabras, the entire set transforms as if it had been like blasted back in time, and everything becomes macabre. Like the cherubs become like skull faces. Everything just becomes twisted and grotesque all around you. And monsters and ghosts become flying around from out of the balconies, and the statues of the iconic monsters come to life and start roaming through the audience. So they get like a quick change replacement of live actors, and then they get blacked out, because what happens afterward is that the Phantom says, "I'm not alone. I brought my new friends." And what you would then see would be Jason, Freddy, and like at the time, the current horror icons, including the xenomorph alien. And like, it was like all, and that sequence would the goal was that they would interchange the horror icons at the time. So you would always start with the classic monsters, and then the second sequence would be, okay, what licensed modern character can we get to throw in there so that we don't have to do another visual? We could just do the like costumed part of it, and then they would show up. The big thing at the end was that the Phantom would then disappear in the voice and then show up on the rafters up top of you, and you would see this you see the chandelier and you see the trellis with all the lights. Now in the musical The Phantom of the Opera, the famous spot is that he cuts the cord for the chandelier, and then it falls towards the stage. In this one, they decide to plus it up. Not only does the chandelier supposed to fall towards the audience, the entire ceiling falls down onto the audience. And at the last second, a blackout occurs, and you hear like the Phantom laugh. And when the lights go back up, the entire theater has reset back to its original position.
That's insane.
Wow.
And the reason that any of that can be familiar is because this same group ended up creating Poseidon's Fury at Islands of Adventure. Now, there is an effect at Poseidon's Fury where at the end of the show, the temple of Poseidon is being destroyed. There's fire, there's water, there's all these different things. There's a flash, and then all of a sudden a wall appears in front of you, and you've been transported back to the temple that you started at. It's the same group, and it was the same kind of effect. So they, again, repurposed an old idea and just brought it to here. But if this show had been built, and it was 1 year before they did Orlando, this group ended up doing a lot of the stuff for Orlando as well. But if they built this would have been their first major attraction in Hollywood. And it would have been, it is essentially the spawn of what later came way down the line with Halloween Horror Nights, and then Dark Universe, and like all of those things that we have with monster attractions now. If this had been built, and this would have been the thing that every single freak like me would have been in line for over and over and over again. It was allegedly meant to be the end of the tram tour as an option, or it would have been just a thing that they would have had on its own. But my God, this to me is like the ultimate special effects show that got away. And you want to talk about like seating people in there. It would filled a ton of people. It would have been amazing to be able to like move a bunch of people into there. Obviously, yeah, you're running into a lot of complications with tech and reliability and the fact that you have so many live actors that you have to have in rotation. And you have also the complication of how many licensed characters can you get for after horror and like, so obviously it's a big ambitious.
And how many
idea.
pacemakers?
Oh my God, would it have been
How many
amazing.
pacemakers can Universal afford from lawsuits of heart attacks that they induced with that?
I just for that last effect alone of an entire ceiling dropping on you.
Oh,
on the audience,
that's wild.
Just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's. I look at this and I like almost like cry inside just knowing that something like this could have been built. And obviously there's no way that stage could ever be used again because that stage doesn't exist anymore. That set piece does not, like, Soundstage 28 is not a thing, unfortunately, anymore. Especially after like the fires that happened on the Universal lot so many years ago, and so much set pieces of historic movies just gone.
That happened in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, and it's just I wept when that happened because of I literally had been there a few years before and had gotten to do the tour, and I had seen all those things before any of that stuff happened, and I was very grateful. But just like to know that all of that stuff was gone was just heartbreaking. But to know that this could have been there, it really like makes you wonder, like, if something like this had been built, what would the butterfly effect have been for other attractions at that Universal Studios? And how would it have affected Disney MGM?
Yeah.
And how would it have affected Universal Orlando? Like, one attraction could have completely changed the face of an entire East Coast development.
Dark Universe could have existed 25 years ago.
2 decades early.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
Wild.
All right, well, let's move on beyond the sad wishful thinking. And I'm going to be taking a cue from you guys, since you were kind enough to have me play a game when I was a guest on your show. I made a game for you. And so this is a game that that I am calling the Blue Sky Bluff. And this is where I'll insert a little bit of game show music. Welcome to the Blue Sky Bluff. This is where our contestants are going to identify the fake unbuilt project. There are 11 questions and a bonus question just in case we hit a tie. So I'm going to ask you a question. There are 4 choices. One of the choices is a fake unbuilt project. Your answer will be, which one do you think is the fake one? We've got JJ, we've got Andrew. Let's find out who will reach that blue sky or who will get bluffed. Starting with number 1. Disney's America in Virginia. This canceled park was divided into 9 territories representing different eras of American history. Which of these lands was not part of the master plan? Was it A, Enterprise, a factory town featuring an Industrial Revolution roller coaster through a steel mill? Was it B, Victory Field, a World War II airfield where guests could operate tanks and parachute from planes? C, the Great Plains, a vast prairie land featuring a bison stampede attraction and a sod house exhibit? Or was it D, President's Square, a celebration of democracy featuring a replica of the Hall of Presidents? Lock in your answers.
I got mine.
Yeah, mine.
All right, JJ and Andrew, hold up your answers. JJ says B, Andrew says B. The answer was C. The Great Plains was the area. It was not a designated territory.
Oh, man.
Enterprise Victory Field and President's Square.
Enterprise,
Yes.
I remembered.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes, that's right. There was a World War II airfield planned for this land. But Japan, way out. Question number 2. Westcott in Anaheim eventually became Disney's California Adventure. Planned as the Epcot of the West, a wonderful portmanteau, this park could have replaced the Disneyland parking lot. Which of these ambitious concepts was not part of the design? Space Station Earth, a 300-foot golden geodesic sphere serving as the park's icon. B. Ride the Dragon, a steel coaster in the Asian corner where the cars looked like Chinese festival lion dragons. C. The River of Time, a 45-minute boat ride that wound through the entire park connecting the World Showcase lands. Or D. The Global Jet Setter, a suspended hang glider simulator that would have predated Soarin' by a decade. Lock in those answers. All right, gentlemen, what do we got? JJ says B. Andrew says D. Andrew is correct.
Oh.
The Global Jet Setter. Yes, that was not a waiting attraction. No, Soarin' would eventually become the attraction that was the first of its kind for Disney's California Adventure, meaning you have got the first point on the board, Andrew.
All right. What was B again for JJ?
The D was
The Dragon roller coaster.
Ride the Dragon, a steel
Yeah.
roller coaster in the Asian corner, where the cars looked like Chinese festival lion dragons. Mind you,
This-
all of these attractions do sound pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Westcott sounded awesome. The
It did.
rivers thing.
And then most of those ideas ended up becoming attractions at Disney Tokyo Sea.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Tokyo Disney Sea, excuse me.
the not the river cruise idea that was really cool. I mean, it's
Yes,
long,
of course.
45
And once
minutes.
again, hey, what do we default to? Oh, just put a river ride through it.
Well, I mean, capacity. You can't. It's all about capacity. You can't beat boats for capacity.
and especially
Right.
a
Well,
45
that's why it
minute
worked so
boat
well in
ride.
Animal Kingdom.
Think about the capacity on a 45-minute boat ride.
Well, again, it was supposed to be just like take you from stop A to stop B, and, you know.
Instead of a
okay,
train,
okay.
instead of a train, it'll
Yeah.
be a boat around the around World Showcase.
And they learned the lesson in Animal Kingdom because no one used it.
Oh,
They should bring that back.
All right.
yeah.
You hear me,
Yeah,
Josh?
well, the thing is, well, listen, if I get to see my dragon and my dinosaur that was supposed to be there. All right, question number 3. This is for Universal Studios Germany. This was a planned major European park in the mid-90s. Now, you can take your best guess with this one. Which of these attractions was not in the concept phase for this park? Now, to clarify, these are all concepts. You're guessing which of them is not real. Was it A, King Kong Drop Tower, a vertical drop ride themed to the giant ape, separate from the tram tour? Was it B, the Apollo 13 Moonshot Coaster, an indoor coaster housed inside a replica of the vehicle assembly building? Was it C, the Terminator Cyber War, a high-speed dueling coaster simulating the war between humans and Skynet? Or was it D, Ghostbusters, a dedicated attraction leveraging the franchise's popularity in the 90s?
I got mine.
All right, let's see them. JJ says B. Andrew says A.
JJ, is that your third B?
Yeah, I'm going. I've gone B every single time.
The answer is it was C. The Terminator Cyber War. Although T2-3D exists, I made up Cyber War. Basically, took the idea of dueling dragons and put Terminator to it. Yes. King Kong Drop Tower was going to be real. A dedicated Ghostbusters land was also supposed to be there. Apollo 13 Moonshot Coaster, also a concept not only for this land, but was also something reserved for Universal Studios Orlando, which then ended up becoming another attraction
Oh,
which we all know now as Men in Black Alien Attack.
Oh.
I would have thought it would have been
Yeah.
Hulk because the way you said the launch.
No, it was going
because
to be
that Hulk, that
space.
launch, the launch
It
uphill
was
is
just-
like a
it was-
rocket.
That building basically was going to be, that's what that area was going to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish we got that.
Well,
Apollo 13, the
nothing
ride.
says build upon a tragic movie about the almost death of several astronauts like a roller coaster.
Thank you for
in
your
one of-
service.
In one of Ron Howard's greatest movies.
It is a great movie.
Here's the thing. It's one of those movies where you know its history and you're still watching it going, are they going to make it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like that during Zero Dark 30 too.
They're gonna get him.
All right, question number 4. By the way, still with only 1 point is Andrew.
Good thing we had that tiebreaker.
Yeah, you never know. Question number 4. The missing World Showcase pavilions in Epcot.
Okay.
Many countries were announced for Epcot's Phase 2, but never built. Which of these nations was not famously announced, fully designed for the park? Was it A, Iran, a Persian pavilion that was fully approved but canceled due to the 1979 revolution? Was it B, Iceland, a pavilion featuring a geyser walkthrough and a Viking history boat ride? See, boat rides. They freaking love boat rides. C, Venezuela, a pavilion announced in 1982 to represent South America. Or D, Equatorial Africa, a pavilion featuring a Heartbeat of Africa show and a treehouse lookout. All right, JJ says A. Andrew
My first
says
time
B.
not answering B, it's going to be B.
The correct answer is B. Yes. Andrew with another point.
All right.
That's right. Iceland was never and publicly or has never been publicly announced as a pavilion. However, Iran was fully designed and approved.
Yep.
But then history happened. All right, moving on to question number 5. Andrew, you are in the lead with 2 points. JJ, just happy to be here. Number 5.
I got you right where I
Beastly
want you,
Kingdom.
Andrew.
you were standing in a specific spot, and then it would reverberate so that you could it was a specifically controlled audio positioning, so that if you were in one spot and Andrew was in another and I was standing on the speaker, neither of you could hear what the unicorn was talking to tell me.
Wow, that's insane.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's a head trip.
Yeah.
And I know that lots of people like to go to Disney World under the influence. Yeah, that would have been bad. All right, moving on to another attraction by the Goddard Group that would have been created, but Universal's Cartoon World, pre-Islands of Adventure, or also known as Tooniversal Studios, or the third Florida project called Project X. Epcot, SeaWorld, and this one, all Project X. They just love that name for some reason. Before securing Marvel and Dr. Seuss, Universal designed a park called Cartoon World. Which of these lands was not in the original proposal? Was it A, the Jetsons Orbit City, a futuristic land featuring a flying saucer spinner ride? B, DC Superhero Island, a land divided into Gotham City and Metropolis? C, Looney Tunes Land, a land featuring a Coyote Canyon roller coaster? Or D, Comic Strip Lane, the entry hub designed to look like a factory where cartoons are created? Tried to make all of them sound as realistic as possible.
This one's tough. This one's really tough because Six Flags has the two that I'm thinking of.
All right, one of these things is not like the other, though. All right, let's see them. JJ says C. Andrew says A. The answer is A.
All right.
Andrew with 4. Wow. But don't worry, JJ. There's still a chance.
So you tell me there's a chance.
Who knows? Maybe I'll make the last question worth all the points. It's my show. I can do what I want. That's right. The Jetsons Orbit City, not a real one. I made that up. Hanna-Barbera characters were going to be used in Universal. Obviously, the Hanna-Barbera ride was part of the original Universal Studios, but they were not going to be part of Cartoon World. The park was anchored by DC Superhero Island with a Metropolis side on one and Gotham City on the other, both pillared by gigantic statues of Batman and Superman with recreations of Metropolis and Superman and Gotham City. And the Superman ride was 1-to-1 what the Spider-Man ride ended up becoming. They basically flipped it because they got the property for Marvel.
Wow.
Made by the same group, Goddard Entertainment, which is now Legacy Entertainment. Seriously, if you want a fun deep dive of rides that almost were, look up Legacy Entertainment on Facebook. They've got every single thing they've almost made.
I'm shocked that there's that they were making this park and they had two pieces of things that were already in Six Flags, because Gotham's all over. Gotham and Metropolis is all over the Six Flags universe at that point, and so is Looney Tunes.
Warner Brothers has the worst luck with theme parks. Like the Six Flags licensing has never succeeded for whatever reason. They have never. The only place that has actually come close, and unfortunately I have reservations about it for personal reasons,
the one in
is
Dubai,
the park in Abu Dhabi.
Right. Yas Island.
It is an incredible facility with amazing technology and wonderful craftsmanship. But I know how it was built, and I personally don't agree with it. Anyway.
What was that group called? Legacy
Entertainment. A future guest on the podcast, by the way.
Nice.
All right. Awesome. So let's go to Project Gemini, which was the code name for the Epcot overhaul. In the early 2000s, Disney considered a radical defuturizing of Epcot. Which of these proposals was not part of Project Gemini? Reminder, the score is currently Andrew 4, JJ 1. Was it A, Time Racers, a high-speed steel roller coaster that would have replaced the entire interior of Spaceship Earth? Was it B, the Rainforest roller coaster, a suspended family coaster flying through the canopy of the Land Pavilion? Was it C, Cyberspace Mountain, a virtual reality coaster where guests designed their own track layout and then rode it? Or D, Junior Autopia, a driving attraction for kids built next to Test Track? By the way, this was also part of the proposed Disney decade that just never happened. Part of this was also the Tomorrowland 2055 project in Disneyland that was supposed to be a total makeover of Tomorrowland. That never happened.
It's funny.
And one of those proposed makeovers of Tomorrowland, they were going to call it Lucasport. And they were going to basically make that the early, like way before Galaxy's Edge. It was going to like take you through all the franchises. And Tony Baxter was part of the design process. And guess what one of his designs was supposed to be for one of the buildings?
Something crystally.
Nailed it. You can actually look up that concept art too. God, the guy loves his crystal buildings. Anyway, all right, let's see your answers. If I ever get Tony Baxter on this show, I am going to ask him, why do you obsess with it? Let's see. Andrew, B, JJ, D. The correct answer is C, Cyberspace Mountain.
That existed.
This is a trick question because Cyberspace Mountain was a real attraction at Disney Quest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it existed.
Yes, it did exist, but not for Epcot.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it got repurposed, got reused.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick it.
They were going to gut out Spaceship Earth and put a roller coaster in there.
Yeah.
How insane is that?
Yeah.
And not
It's
only
the
that,
Breck Eisner effect.
First of all, they realized how stupid that is. And then they realized like there is no structural integrity for that to be done. There's no way that a roller coaster maintaining inside a dome has any possibility of working.
It does exist
right,
at Europa Park.
Yes, but it's not a full dome. There's a reason they figured it out, and Europa Park is beautiful. All right, let's go to question number 8, the dark side of Universal. Universal has proposed several intense horror concepts that never happened. Which of these is the fake concept? A, the Stephen King ride, a dark ride where the lap bars would lock at the exit, trapping guests as a wall of blood poured out, similar to the scene in The Shining. Is it B, the Fly Teleportation Terror, an attraction where guests entered telepods that turned into a centrifuge spin ride? C, Fast and Furious Moscow, a physical slot car racing attraction like Test Track intended for the indoor Moscow park? Or, once again, D, Apollo 13 coaster, a ride simulating a chaotic re-entry into Earth's atmosphere?
This one's a shot in the dark.
Yeah, don't worry, you're going to get another point.
All right, let's see.
We both pick C.
Both of you say C. Andrew's mirrored upside down answers. Now he figures it out.
Wait. But to me that
now,
looks
you're good
upside
now.
down.
Well, that's because you're. Yeah, well, okay. But I'm sorry. The answer was B, the Fly. Yes, that's right. Stephen King ride and its blood effect was very serious as a proposal. Remember that ride I told you that almost was and then became the Apollo 13 ride? Yeah, that was what they wanted to do first. They wanted to do a Stephen King dark ride where you would go through the best of his movies. You'd go through It, you'd go through a bunch of them, and then it would end in the Shining Hotel, and you would have the fake exit, very similar to the one that's in The Mummy, Revenge of the Mummy. And what would happen is Pennywise would then bust out and say, you're not done yet. And the elevator doors would open and a deluge of blood would come out of it and flood around you. And then you'd go through the elevator doors and then there'd be a small roller coaster part. So they basically took that same idea and then applied it to Revenge of the Mummy.
Wow. It did sound like so out there that I was like, that has to be real.
And they were so close to actually doing it.
That's awesome.
The other thing with Fast and the Furious, when Tokyo Drift came out, originally Fast and the Furious was meant to be the replacement for Back to the Future. And the whole idea was that you were getting into a vehicle that was essentially like Dom's vehicle, and then you were going through an international, like a across the country race. And it would have been much better than the supercharged attraction. I think anybody can agree with that. Yeah. And not for nothing, I love Simpsons, but it's just, you know, I feel like if you, and while I would never have wanted Back to the Future to be replaced in the first place, a Fast and the Furious show, a ride like that actually makes more sense, you know. But anyway, let's go on to our next question, a Tony Baxter question.
Nice.
Discovery Bay, planned for Disneyland. This steampunk flavored Frontierland expansion had a bunch of proposed attraction ideas floating around. Which of these was not part of the concept? A Chinatown fireworks factory style attraction where guests aim at fireworks in a whimsical assembly line setting. B, a massive Hyperion airship hangar e-ticket island at the top of the world simulator style adventure. C, a walk-through Nautilus concept tied to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with the idea of dining in Nemo's Grand Salon. Or D, Gondwana Glider Rally, a hang glider race over prehistoric continents featuring pterodactyl near misses. You can just hear the pitch meeting as well. Like, it's just like him and just Baxter and Rhodey, just like throwing all of these things.
What's gonna stick?
What's gonna stick? All right, what do we think? Got A for JJ, D for Andrew.
Is it the backwards D or no?
There answer. No, don't worry. We got it. It's a funnier gag if you keep messing up. But don't worry. You are correct, Andrew. It is D. Making you a total of 5 correct. But don't worry, JJ. There's still time. Yeah, the first 3 were, in fact, for Discovery Bay. Gondwana is I made that up.
Yeah.
I just wanted something that sounded real and something that like they probably would have made. There have been plenty of like before, like they tried so many times to make a ride like that ended up becoming Soarin' before Soarin' ended up being the thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy how much they really wanted to make a hang glider ride before they ended up making Soarin'. And there still is like some plans to make a literal like hang glider. I've seen the clips of the research and development. There's just one little clip where it looks like a little like 2-seater thing, and then there's this triangle that's like holding above it and a big immersive like 3D screen, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I know that's something. You know what ride I would have loved to have seen that like, because now they have, and it's like if this tech had been there back then, a Rocketeer roller coaster. You know, like how you could like they have the roller coaster where you're basically like strapped and flying.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's right there. Anyway. Plus the music with it would have been amazing. God, I love that movie so damn much. I'm going to probably watch it tonight now, thinking about it.
That seems a little too
here we go.
out there for Disney, though. That type of ride system, I don't know if they would ever do that.
Andrew, I could take away points if I feel offended by something you say. Just want to let you know.
I mean,
don't mess with my favorite Disney live-action Disney movie.
Vekoma does make a glider, and Vekoma who builds their roller coasters.
Yeah.
Hey, look, JJ might get an extra point all of a sudden. Well,
they have there's a ride called Fly FLY.
Yeah.
That's the one I was
Germany,
thinking of.
Called a park called Phantasialand. And that's
exactly the one I'm thinking of.
That is
because there's a hotel that is around the ride.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a steampunk.
I want to stay there so bad.
Yes, I agree. Same. It's the same company that made all the roller coasters since Rock and Roller Coaster have been Vekoma's.
Yeah.
So it's a
Good
natural
people
fit. I think they could. I mean, I don't think they would pick Rocketeer.
If they had ever made the sequel to Rocketeer, like they had planned several years ago, and it was a success.
Yeah.
Now, my
A
problem
man
is
can dream, though. A man can
It could be a
dream.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about Rocketeer. I think the
San Francisco would have had a cool. Actually, now that I
If
think
you're
about
flying through San Francisco, that's
pretty damn cool. Now that I think about it.
It's a ride system.
All right,
though.
you got me back.
It's Disney has to make it all accessible.
So, Fire Mountain, planned for Magic Kingdom. This Atlantis-era coaster concept, at least in this particular incarnation of it, had went through multiple ideas. But which detail of this incarnation was fake? It was planned near Pirates of the Caribbean Adventureland as a weenie, which is a term used for the eye catcher to get people drawing guests deeper into the land. B, it was imagined as a volcano mountain with an Atlantis base camp set up outside. C, one version mixed a standard coaster with a flying section where riders would be face down to mimic flight, meaning it would switch tracks midway. D, it was designed as a water coaster where boats splashed through lava tubes and geyser fields the entire ride.
Can you read B again?
B was that it was imagined as a volcano mountain with an Atlantis base camp set up outside.
Okay.
Which of those is fake? By the way, I love that the term for an iconic thing to make you look towards a land is weenie.
Oh yeah.
But it's just named after what a dog would follow a weenie, a hot dog. It's named after hot dogs.
I know, it's
Not
just
anything else.
funny. Like, you think it would be like icon or,
No,
something that has like majesty towards it. Nope, weenie.
weenie.
Someone
All right,
accidentally overheard him saying, "I need a big weenie," and then he's like, "Oh no, what that means actually."
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. All right, let's see them weenies. You both said D, and the answer is
All right.
D.
Can't even
JJ
catch
gets
up when I get them
a
right.
point. That's right. The concept was only ever described as a coaster. But
Okay.
there had been plans at one point, allegedly, that the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was meant to be replaced with Atlantis. But for some reason, Atlantis just never caught on until we all grew up and said how great a movie it was later on.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, wait. Well, we have one more question left, and it is anybody's game. So, for all the points.
For all the points.
Because why take
I'm
any of
back.
this seriously? Universal Studios Dubai Land was a proposed park at one point, divided into themed areas. Your goal is to tell me which of these was not one of the listed, which one of these was not meant to be part of the park. Was it A, Hollywoodland, B, New York, C, Surf City, or D, Backlot Boulevard?
One more time? Could you say them one more time?
Yes, which of these lands was not part of the concept for Universal Studios Dubai Land? Hollywood, New York, Surf City, or Backlot Boulevard? All right, it's all or nothing. JJ says D.
Andrew says
betting
you.
it all on C. The answer is D.
Oh,
Feels good to be back.
With the
Had you right where I
ultimate
wanted you.
comeback. JJ gets the equivalent of the rest of the points, meaning we have a tie.
wasn't the rest of the points just 1 point?
Hey, it's my game. I'll do what I want. I want to use all these questions. Is essentially what I'm talking about. I put a lot of work into this.
You thought I'd be better at guessing.
Just be glad I gave you multiple choice. All right. Now this is the tiebreaker. The Germany Pavilion. We've been talking about river rides nearly this entire episode. Germany Pavilion at Epcot had a never-built Rhine River cruise. In fact, the entire area is just walled off in the restaurant. The whole ride itself is still kind of there. It's just an empty facility. Now, it was meant to use... Oh, where'd he go?
He's gone forever.
I'm gonna have to repeat this whole question.
No, he's got his AirPods in.
Yeah, I got my AirPods.
No, I don't care. Makes the camera look good. You should know better.
The clip.
The clip. Yes. Sorry. All right. Yeah.
Don't
Actually,
worry. It's fun. We'll use this as an outtake. So, the Germany Pavilion at Epcot had a never-built Rhine River cruise concept described as using specific rivers. Which river was not included in that list? Was it the Rhine River? Was it the Tauber River? Was it the Danube River? Or was it the Ruhr River? And if I mispronounced any of these, it's because I'm not German, nor have I ever taken a German class. All right.
Okay. Andrew
Decide
did both,
our
and
winner.
I don't think he can correct you.
All right.
Nope.
Let's see. And both of you got it
Wrong.
The answer was the Danube River. The cited list names were the Rhine, the Tauber, the Ruhr, and Isar, not the Danube.
Oh.
So, with that, we have a tie game. Oh, but you're both winners in my heart, so I will give you that. Gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure. Please plug the podcast away.
Okay. Our podcast is called Reedy Geeks. It is a Disney World focused podcast. We come out with episodes every Tuesday. We have list episodes. We have episodes about spotlights on Imagineers, resorts, drinks, restaurants, all sorts of cool stuff. In March, we have a really big event coming up that I'll pitch it to Andrew for. It's called Mouse Madness.
Yeah,
you want to tell him a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do it based off of a popular playoff thing that happens in March that we can't really talk about. But anyway, we call it Mouse Madness. And so we're pitting 64 table service restaurants up against each other, and to see which is the best sit-down restaurant in Disney World. Yeah, we're three childless millennials that go to Disney. So yeah.
Nothing like a stereotype.
Right, exactly.
Well, I'm gonna be rooting for the sci-fi dine-in. So that's my pick.
It's on there
all the way.
It's on the bracket.
Right.
Yes, and you guys can fill out your bracket, Michael, and help us decide too, because the listeners can vote
Absolutely.
as well.
I'm a diehard sci-fi dine-in all the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, good.
That's great.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Follow them at Reedy Geeks and appreciate it. Make sure you give their podcast a listen. Make sure you rate them 5 stars. Give them a comment as well, wherever you can listen to podcasts.
You've been listening to the Backstage Kingdom Podcast, produced and hosted by Michael Saint Gregory. Music and sound effects by Epidemic Sound. For all things theater and theme parks, follow Michael everywhere online at The Backstage Kingdom. New episodes arrive every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are available. I'm your announcer, yours truly, Pat Dooley, signing off and reminding you to have a magical day.